Hey guys, please make sure you stand till the end. People make one common mistake that will destroy the engine. You will end up rebuilding or replacing it, which can cost you thousands of dollars in repairs. Stay with us, we'll explain what we're talking about. Hey guys, welcome back to Auto Repair guys. Super quick and helpful video guys to any of you having a BMW. Almost any newer BMW past year 2006. Now we're talking about with the electric coolant water pump. We will explain in this video today how to do the self-bleeding procedure on your BMW. Now, every time you drain coolant to replace thermostat, a water pump, temperature sensor, radiator hoses, anything like that, you need to add later coolant. Most people will do that and they will start driving the car and that can destroy your engine. You may overheat it guys. You always need to bleed the cooling system. So in this video today we will explain how to do the self-bleeding procedure, how to activate that function on your BMW. So before we start, let us guys tell you a little bit about us. Every single car we get here at the garage, we try to make at least 200 to 300 free repair videos. We show you guys how to fix multiple things. We fix engines, we fix guys transmissions, we fix bodywork. We show you how to fix engine codes, fuses, relays. We take them completely apart. We make at least 200 videos on every car. Why we do that? Because our mission here at the garage is to save you guys as much money as we can by providing that information. All we need in return, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, that way we can keep making these free videos. Check out our YouTube channels. We guys have more than 17,000 free repair videos that can save you thousands of dollars in future repairs. And if you need to buy parts, tools, to fix your cars, we're going to share the information in the description of the video below. Let's start on it now. So, most BMWs past year 2006, they started using electric coolant water pumps. The pump is not driven by the serpentine belt anymore like it used to be. The pump, it has independent source. It's driven by the 12-volt supply system, by the battery practically, and the alternator. And that pump, guys, it's not dependent on belts or anything like that. Now, when you replace, guys, anything that involves draining the coolant, thermostat, water, water pump, anything like that, you need to, when you're done with the procedure and you start adding coolant, you need to bleed the cooling system. If you don't bleed the cooling system, you may simply end up having an air pocket inside your engine that will prevent coolant to flow freely, and as a result, guys, that can cause the engine to overheat and destroy it. So, always bleed the cooling system. If you have an overheating BMW, always do that, guys, because it could be quite simple fix. So we'll explain how to activate that pump now for the self-bleeding procedure. All that will be covered for your convenience. So let's start on it now. So guys, what we're going to do, the first thing, you're gonna do that only when the car is extremely cold. Let it sit overnight, make sure the coolant is, cold, because if you open the coolant reservoir, you can severely burn yourself. So you're going to go ahead and unscrew the coolant cap. Faulty coolant cap can cause overheating as well, guys, so we recommend to replace those as well once in a while, because they have a built-in valve that if not working correctly, that can cause overheating. And we'll start filling it up until we reach the maximum point inside. So that's what we're working on now, okay? We'll just keep adding coolant here, guys. Okay, and we'll continue. So I'll show in a little bit where you can see the minimum and the maximum. Okay, on the inside, I'll grab the camera. Let me just reach that here, guys. Okay, let me grab the funnel so I don't make a mess. If I grab the camera here, okay, check this thing out. Okay, I'm making a mess here. Inside, okay, on the bottom, on the lower part, it says minimum. On the other one it says maximum. We're going to get it to the maximum. You may have the one that's sticking up depending on which design you have, guys, but now we're going to go ahead, add more. It's going to take quite a bit because we did actually, okay, coolant flush, radiator replacement. Okay, it still needs more, that's crazy. Okay, it's getting close to the full. Okay, perfect, right above the full. That radiator, okay, overflow tank is full now. Okay, check it out. We're going to go ahead, guys, okay, and it's still taking a little bit. So I'm going to get the other watch, it's still getting in the engine. So I'll get one more gallon, okay, we'll get the other gallon now and we're going to add more because it needs to be, okay, a little bit more on top. Okay, so let's go ahead, do that because more went in the engine now. Now if you have a BMW that's overheating and you're doing that bleeding procedure, you may not need to add so much coolant. Okay, it's still taking, guys, quite a bit. This one had a leaking radiator. Okay, so far, okay, I can hear the coolant going through the radiator. It's still taking some here. Make sure we're not leaking anywhere because I can hear the bubbles. So always make sure if you worked on it, you don't have a loose hose or something too. From what I see, we don't. Okay, it's still taking more and more and more. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, fill it up, and we'll continue. Next, we're going to close, okay, the system right here. You gotta make sure it's closed all the way. Some models, guys, okay, depending on the year model, okay, F25, F26 don't, but you may have a bleeding screw that you need to unscrew, guys, okay, for the bubbles to come out. Specifically, we don't. What do we need to do next? We're going to go inside that BMW. You gotta make sure that we have the keys, guys, okay? And with the keys in place, okay, we're going to go ahead, okay, and I'm going to make sure that I'm clean. It breaks my heart getting in the car so dirty. So now close your door, everything needs to be closed, and here we're going to not press the brake pedal. Next, we're going to press that button until the lights come on, but we have to make sure that we don't start the car. Next, set the temperature to the highest position. I'm going to do sync, highest position on the highest setting here, and we're going to set the fan to the lowest setting, like that. After that, press the gas pedal for about 10 seconds and you will hear the water coolant pump activating. Listen for that now. Still waiting? Okay, I just heard it. Now, the pump is running, guys. I'm going to get the window there. And it will stop. It will run, it will stop, it will go on low, on high speed. It's right here underneath, so listen now. It stopped right now when I got out, but it's going to restart again. That's what's happening now. Listen. It should be any minute. Okay. That's what we're working on now. And what it does, it's going to stop and go, change the speed so it can self-bleed itself and get, okay, all the bubbles out of the system. Now, if you turn the ignition switch off, okay, that will stop the pump too. So you gotta make sure that your ignition switch is still on. Let me make sure that I didn't accidentally turn it off because, okay, by now I think it should have stayed on. Okay, and looks like, okay, the ignition switch is still on, so we're waiting for the pump, okay, and see if we will need to actually go ahead, okay, and restart the procedure. So let's listen now, because sometimes it will start, it will stop for about a minute, then it will go again. The whole procedure takes about 10 to 12 minutes, guys. So I'll just give it a little bit of time and we'll see, okay, what happens. So you gotta make sure, guys, you have the ignition switch on, okay? Ignition switch should stay on, ours turned off. So now, temperature on high, fan on low, we're pressing the gas pedal and it should activate again. Listen now, it should be any minute. We need to make sure. Okay, so I did it with an open door. Sometimes that will affect it too. Listen about the pump. The pump's going, it will slow down. You can hear the air bubbles coming here through the hose. Okay, it's going to circulate now, on and off, multiple times at different speeds. Okay, listen now. it's activating on higher speed now. I hope you can hear that on the camera. And the bubbles that were in the system, that's why we need to self-bleed that system, are going through here. If you have a bleeding screw, you need to follow the procedure about a bleeding screw. We have a video about that, demonstrating how to do it on BMW E90. E90 has the bleeding screw, and E83 X3, we have a video how to do it as well. It will teach you guys step by step how to do that. But okay, listen now. Okay, it's working on it now. So that procedure, okay, self-bleeding procedure will take about 10 to 12 minutes. But when it's finished, it doesn't mean you're ready. You still need to do other things, and we'll explain what, so make sure you stay until the end. We're going to let it run through that cycle until the pump turns off for at least 1 minute. That means that it's done. So the procedure, guys, okay, is done. It turned off. So now we're going to go ahead, open, and I want to inspect how much we went down. We were a little bit over the max. Now, guys, okay, here, watch, we're a little bit below the minimum. So what we're going to do, we're going to get to the max again, okay? We need to add more coolant to make sure that we get to the max. Okay, perfect. Now, we'll recommend, guys, to run that procedure 2 times at least, until we don't hear any bubbles coming from that hose, because it could be bad. We'll recommend to run that procedure 2 times, just for peace of mind. Sometimes I've done it even 3, if the engine was giving me a lot of troubles, just to make sure that this is covered and I don't have to do that anymore. But always, guys, okay, do that, and make sure between the first and the second round you check the coolant level, you add more, because if you end up having empty tank, it can suck air back in the system. So guys, if you have a BMW and you wonder how to do the self-bleeding procedure, how to activate the self-bleeding procedure, that's how we do it, guys, not too complicated, right? Run it a couple times if you drain the coolant, because you want to make sure that you get all the air out. If you want to see anything else specifically on BMW or any car, just drop a comment below under our videos on our YouTube channels, and if we have time, we'll try to make that video. Hopefully the video will be helpful. Thank you for watching. See you next time.